Yo, what is up YouTube? Cruiser here, bringing you another 200 zoom live play video. Let's hope we get some interesting spots today. Folding here. Even though it's a super mean 3-bet, a hand is pretty shitty. I think I would continue every suited hand versus this small 3-bet. And I would continue this hand as well if he was 100 BB deep. But this is, even though the price is super good, I think our hand is really, really trashy. One of the worst we can have in that spot. Here, you can play big bet, you can play smaller bet. I think I'm gonna go for smaller. Okay, good board for us. The higher the trips are on the board, the more we range c-bet these spots. If it was Jack 4-4, then I would have a checking range. Here, I think I would exploitatively go for thinner. Here, he still has to continue some ace highs. He still has to continue 4x. And I have a redraw with my 5x, so I think I'm gonna go for a bet. Now, I think going under pot is okay here. We try to get called by Jack X or low pocket pairs. Ace 4 is a good calling hand here as well. This one I'm gonna range c-bet against the unknown. I don't think we can overbet this spot because he can still have ace X and king X flushes. Folding here. And then he still gets some slow played 4s, 5s, some boats, Jack X, Jack 9 off. I'm gonna be giving up my hand here. I have to give up a lot on the turn if I see bet range versus unknown guy, right? So I'm just gonna be folding now. This one's gonna be a mix 4-bet or fold. I'm gonna be folding this time. Opening this with a recreational in the small blind. Gonna be checking my hand here. Yes, I like to play range c-bets against recreationals, but this board kind of hits his range. It's gonna have a lot of offsuit broadways, Jack 10, King Jack, right? I'm just gonna check back and get some visibility. Now I can't call my hand anymore. I would be calling ace 10 and ace jack instead. I think those are better calls because they can improve versus his range. And he used a pretty big size, so you're gonna be folding in that spot. This one, I'm actually gonna be folding against this guy. He 4-bets really a lot. I'm gonna be tightening up my opening range. This one's gonna be a call. I don't think suited gappers are a 3-bet BVB that often. Only suited connectors like 9-8, 8-7, 6-5. Gonna be stabbing my hand pretty often, I'd say. It has decent. It has decent straight possibilities. And I'm gonna be using smaller size because on this board, I still get to bet my 6x, my pocket 7s, pocket 8s, right? There's no need to go big size on that board. And he needs to call me with queen jack off, ace highs, and stuff like that. And people might even overfold that region, even against smaller bets, so the smaller bet works even better in practice because of that. This one, limper, pot size, I'm gonna be calling because of the implied odds. If I hit a 5, if I hit an ace, it might be good. Now I'm gonna do something exploitatively. I'm gonna be donking to realize my equity. Given how fast he called, I don't think he has a 10 that much. Maybe he has ace high or 7x, and I don't think those hands will reopen for himself, so I'm just gonna be sizing up myself here, going a little under pot. Yeah, pocket fives. So this one's gonna mix call and 3-bet, calling this time. We're gonna be 3-betting this hand. This guy isolated a fish. Gonna go slightly bigger. Really interesting that he doesn't range c-bet snap range c-bet board, so we have to be really careful here. Actually, two-tone, ace high, maybe you can have some checks. I would simplify and just range c-bets to these boards. And I'm gonna be checking now. We don't win often, but I'm gonna be 3-betting here. But we can't bluff king highs on this board. We're not allowed to, right? Because he's still gonna have a queen is gonna improve him a lot because he's gonna have king queen off if he decides to check. That's only if there's a hand that wants to check this board, it's probably king queen off, right? So queen is gonna be hitting him a lot in this spot, and I'm just gonna be folding. I think my bluffs in this spot will be something like with a good heuristic for this spot is something like a high card, low card. So if I had like king deuce, king 3, jack deuce, jack 3, something like that, I would maybe bluff those hands. Where the high card is a blocker to his second pair region and the low card is unblocker to his folding range because he's not going to have any deuce x or 3x in his range opening from the cutoff, right? I'm sure solver mixes all kinds of hands, but this is my strategy that I like to play. This one, pretty close. I think I'm gonna be limping against this guy. Gonna be calling here. Nice flop. Here, I'm gonna be starting with a small c-bet with one of my best 6x on this board. Yes, he's gonna have a lot of 8x himself, but it's not that good board for him if it would be something like deuce, deuce 6 or 3-3-6, where the low card is a lot of his range, where he's just gonna complete with his like offsuit 2x and 3x, right? So on these boards, we can still have some betting range. Here I'm gonna be raising always, and I'm gonna be calling here. If he barrels here, we're just continuing stuff with a spade, 10-9, ace king off, ace queen off with a spade. All of those hands are better calls because we can still improve. This hand is gonna be a fold, I believe. All right, so interesting turn card. He's gonna improve to some king queen, pocket queens. We're still gonna be betting our sets, 7s and 4s for the most part. I think we're gonna be checking this one. Because I'm gonna be using like super big sizings here, over bet or check. And I think I would always bet my sets and then slow play some of the 2 pairs. And now I'm gonna be overbetting the river. Some of my straight draws improves. My bluffs would be something like 5-6, 8-5 or something like that. We get called. He probably has like king jack or something. King 10, okay. Opening this one. This one is a close open, but if the blinds won't 3-bet you enough, it becomes a pure open. Okay, so this is a board we can have some checks on, because the middling card, because the paired card is a middling card. But I still think I'm gonna be c-betting my best 9x here. He has to be attacking a lot on this board, like all the backdoor stuff, like queen 8, king 7, stuff like that. If he doesn't raise those hands, then my c-bet is pretty bad. But he's a reg, so I expect him to do that. Now I'm going to be double barreling a lot. On a good card for me, I'm going to have more Jack X. Like spade, Jack X from the flop. Some Jack 8s and stuff. He's still going to have some Jack X as well, but I think I'm going to have more. He's going to have King Jack off, A Jack off. But I'm going to have like all the suited Jack X and stuff that I see better the flop with. Get raised, pretty nice. I think I'm just going to be playing calls here. If it was a flush draw board, I might develop some 3-bets. I think just playing calls here is fine. Nice river. I don't think he's allowed to jam every 9x in this spot, so he should be using like B75 or something here. If he jams, then he's repping ace-jack. I mean, he's repping ace-9 or slow-played 6s or jack-9. Okay, so I'm going to do something exploitative now. I don't think his range is... I don't think he has any traps in his range. I don't think he has Jack X in his range that often, raising the turn. So I'm going to use a non-GTO sizing, try to make him induce something. Like small bet, 40%. I think this works well with some parts of my range, like 10-8 or Queen 10. Yeah, I expect him always to fold in that node, but I tried to do some kind of inducing play. This one is pretty bad hand to call 3-way, especially against 2.5x open. Okay, calling this one. They're gonna be... never mind, I'm gonna call this one. Here, weird size for this board. I'm just gonna be calling my 6x. If I had like 6-5, 6-3, 6-4, I would be raising sometimes for protection. This guy opens any 2 from the small blind, so that's why I wanted to raise this one. But I still think I would probably prefer to call suited hands and then raise offsuit garbage here. I'm gonna be calling here. This one, I think I want to use smaller sizings, mostly, because he used bigger size on the flop. So by now, most of his range is like ace highs or some random air that I want to deny equity. This is a really weird spot now. I'm gonna be checking now. Really weird spot now. Nine Jack 10. Is this too thin to jam? Like his siding is pretty weird on the river. Like Jack X, sure, okay, some Jack X can go that size, but he triple barreled, so yeah, I still think my 2 pairs is okay to jam. Because there's a lot of straights, like 8-9 off. Some better 2 pairs, Jack 10, Jack 7, Jack 5. This one I'm gonna be calling. Good board for him. I expect him to use bigger sizings on this board. We'll just continue with a call if he does. Yeah, I don't like it already. This guy's kind of nitty as well. I think we need to call one. I'm gonna be 3-betting my hand here. I think I would probably look to fold the turn here versus this guy. Then call like ace-10, call 7-8, call queen-jack, call call diamonds. I don't think he's giving up rivers, right, when he bets this size. Using half pot here. I'm gonna be exploitatively overfolding here. The reason why I call the flop is a lot of the guys play like a big bet on the flop and then give up on turns, one and done, right? So I was hoping something like that would happen. Okay, so this one, I'm gonna be attacking this spot a lot. With my overpair advantage, I block pocket jacks. I do block some ace queen off that call the flop, but I still think this is clear. Spot to go for bet on the turn. I'm gonna be overbetting a bit because we're a bit deeper, so I want to get stacks in by the river. And we have to be giving up, unfortunately, on the river with ace of clubs, if he does call. Okay, this hand is going to be checking high frequency again. Don't want to get check raised. I have open ender. I would bet like spades and 10-9, jack 10 over this. So it's a really good hand to have in your... This kind of makes no sense because what would jam here? Maybe queens only, but sure, take it. I'm gonna be delaying my hand now. And now it's 2-10 to value bet. I believe he's still gonna have pocket deuces, pocket threes with a heart and stuff like that. Against 2x open, we don't 3-bet much. Jacks versus UTG. We're still gonna be 3-betting it some of the time. We rolled it this time, so let's go for it. Okay, range C betting here. Pretty good board for us. Right, we have recreational here. Let's hope we hit a set. Don't. This one I think I would be... maybe some merge, double barreling. If I had a club with jacks here. Some of the time, but to get called by ace-10 and deny equity against ace-queen. But I think with these suits I have to check. And his range is going to be pretty strong from UTG versus BB. On this specific board, especially after he calls the flop c-bet, so he's not going to have so many, what's it called? Low pocket pairs anymore. I think I'm going to be blocking now. Try to get called by 10x. But I still lose to some queens as well, but I still think block performs check call. Overperforms against check call, I mean. He does have some clubs to bluff, but I think he has more 10x. Ace-10 off. Sorry, ace-10 suited. 10-9 suited. Ace-queen. Yeah, good bluff catch by him. Because I shouldn't be bluffing clubs in this line. Oh, I misclicked here. I want to go 10 BB. Luckily, he didn't notice. This one I'm gonna be 3-betting. Maybe flatting performs better, but then we get... Because he shouldn't be folding a lot. As a recreational, I assume. But if we flat, then the big blind comes along as well, so it's harder to play. Nice. We get trips. I think I'm going to start with a small c-bet. Maybe sizing it up to 40% exploitatively. Just building a pot a bit. Gotta be careful here, even though we have trips. Recreational is probably going to have a lot of ace-jack off, king-jack off in his range. Okay, he folded. Starting with a half pot on his board. He improves to stam 8-7, 6-5, 6-4, 5-4, but I still think we keep on barreling with our hand, with a flush draw blocker and 2 overcards. Here I'm going to be using small bets when I do bet, because it's a high and 2 low board. Same spot as that King XX board from before. Weird raise. He should be check raising a lot of 8-7 on the flop, but we obviously can call King high. We're checking again. This one, I think without a spade, I'm going to play as a check call for the most part. Yeah. Weird size. We should be using smaller here again to make my king highs, ace highs indifferent. When they use bigger size, they're more value heavy, so I don't want to check raise as much. Again, I shouldn't have a lot of ace highs versus bigger size. Maybe some of the spades only. But I think exploitatively, again, I'm going to be blocking here to realize equity. If he won't check raise me enough, he's still going to be check raising 5s, deuces, 4-3, a lot of combos, don't get me wrong, but I still think it's going to be not enough as the solver would. So yeah, he did have a strong hand based on his flop size. I was hoping he has like 7x. He won't be check raising that, so I would be realizing my equity more. And I can't really check all this hand on turn. So that's why I donked exploitatively. This is what I do a lot when I node lock, playing around with node locks to find these strategies. I think they work pretty good against like weaker opposition and stuff. That won't find the correct check raise, that won't find correct raising frequencies. Okay, mixing 4-bet and call, roll the call this time. Interesting board, he should be using like half pot for the most part. I think I have a call barely with, okay, he used 1/3, now I have a pure call. I wanted to say I would be raising with my 10 X of diamonds, some of the frequency, to deny equity against overcards and still get called by 8, 7, 6s with a diamond. I think he should be checking a lot of king queens on this turn, and I don't think he would. So that's why I need to jam always this spot, probably. Yeah, especially when he pots it. I need to deny equity. I need to stack over pairs. Yeah. I think if he c-betted bigger on the flop, maybe I could even donk the turn. because he should be checking a lot of king queen, as I said. And if he's gonna check them, then we want to donk our value way more, even though it's not like GTO strat. But I think that's the node lock in this spot. Versus half pot, I think we have to fold versus UTG, sadly, without the diamond. Interesting hand, this one. Like ace-jack, I'm gonna be jamming ace-jack some of the times. So that makes his queen's call good, but still gonna be losing to 5, stands, jack 10. He doesn't have a diamond at least, so that's a plus for calling queens. Well, I'm also gonna be having queens some of the time, cutoff versus hijack. So I think he has to call king spear. And then queens start to become close in my eyes. He snapped call pretty fast. I have to check this hand. I think it would be indifferent with a diamond. Interesting one. Okay, this one is going to be a fold or 4-bet. Opening here with 2 recreationals in the blinds. Have to be folding. Even against the small size, this guy's loose passive, so I don't think he's gonna have random hands in his small 3-betting range. Again, similar spot to that 10-8 off from the earlier in the session. But I just think our hand is not, even though this price is super good, like he is shorter and our hand is dominated a lot. If I had like low pocket pairs, I would call that pure. If I had suited hands where I can flop a flush draw, I will call that pure. This is again one of the worst hands we open. Similar, super like identical spot as the 10-8. Here our bottom range is jack 10 off in terms of equities, right? You always want to think about that. And then in the button opening versus small bind, our worst hand is 10-8 off in terms of equities. In terms of bottom opening ranges, we don't even open jack 10 off from UTG, but I opened it because there were 2 recreations, right? So that's how bad that hand is. Even though the price is super good, I think it's a fold. Tell me what you think about calling these types of hands versus recreationals versus super small sizings. Do you do it a lot? Do you fold? I was playing around with Equilab, and I realized that these hands don't really have a lot of equity, even though the price is good, like I already said, versus his perceived range, like loose passive guy. He's not really going to have those random broadways, suited hands. He's mostly going to be calling them pre, right? So when he does 3-bet, his range should be stronger. Okay, 3-betting here. Going for a check here, check calling. This guy's again one of the unknowns, so I think I'm gonna be just one and done in this spot. For small size with my super trashy hand. If he just calls, I'm out. Yeah, nice, really good result here. This one I'm gonna be blocking my ace highs for value, especially the ones with a high kicker, like ace jack, ace 10 for the most part. I think I'll be calling ace. I'll be checking ace king because the second card blocks king x some of his calls, right? So I think we check ace king on this spot, and then bet ace 10, ace jack. Now we just check back our king x. I think we overfold if he bets because people will they won't expect me to fold my ace high region, so and if they don't expect that, then we overfold even our ace highs we overfold, but especially these king highs. Although Jack is super good, like our diamonds are super good here. Sometimes I get lost in these spots. Like I really want to call, but oh man, fuck. The thing is, he can probably be bluffing me out of a chop, right? So I don't think I can call just because of that reason. I think I'm gonna be raising this one. He has to be folding some ace 10, ace 9. So I beat that. So that's a plus. And then he calls like jack 10, 10 9. That's also a plus with my hand. So I think this is a good candidate to raise. You always want to think what your hand achieves with a raise, what your hand achieves with a call. So I fold out better ace highs there, but I get called by gut shots, right, in position. Then I can just check the turn back and then maybe even bluff catch the river, right? Gonna be flatting here with the recreational in the small blind. Really good board for us. We should be checking range and we should be stabbing a lot. I think I'm gonna be checking this one back on a low roll. Yeah. You can't bet it every time. Having a diamond is okay, but versus 2x, I need to defend king 8 off. This one is close now. Maybe I can raise 6x. He should be checking a lot again on the turn. Once he does bet, I think I just call. I wanted to raise, but I think I just call on this spot. Oh, really good river. I'm folding here. Having king of clubs is nice to continue, but our hand is just too bad in terms of hand class. I think king 10 with king of clubs would be a call versus small c bet. Or king jack at least. Those would be my thresholds. Here I think I just use... I'm gonna go for overbet because I have 6s and 7s that want to bluff this spot. Maybe even 9s if he perceives me to be overbluffing. I think I just overbet. And this one I'm gonna go for a 3-bet. Beta mix. Yeah, folding versus a jam. This one should be a 3-bet high frequency, but guy opened 3x. Don't think I wanna be 3-betting. I don't expect out to fall equity versus a recreational. I'm gonna be c-betting big here. Calling. Gonna be donking the turn. Let's even size up with the donk. Exploitatively. Here I'm gonna be c-betting. Ouch, he snap raised. He's a recreational though, but he has like decent stats. He can have like 6s and 4s. I'm not sure what I do here in this spot. Have to be donking again here. And folding to a jam. Yeah. Oh, we need 25% equity. I really don't want to fold trips versus a recreational. Fuck. I really don't want to fold this spot. There we go. There we go. That's why you don't fold against recreationals. It was super close against every auto reg in this goddamn limit, but Against a random guy, you can fold those spots. Let's give him a label. Folding this against this aggro guy. I think I'm gonna get barreled off. Actually, deep stack king jack call is kind of close for the smaller size. Fuck, I think I may need to call. Here, good board for us. Gonna be c-betting bigger when we do c-bet. This hand is ideal candidate to c-bet with our suits, but I think I'm gonna play it as a check raise this time. Now I think we start to fold on the flop already deeper. Like here, we want to have like hands like that can improve way more, like queen jack, 7-8 suited, jack 8 suited. I think I have jack 8 suited instead here that I wouldn't call when we were deeper because 100 BB you fold jack 8 suited, but deeper you call them. So I have extra combos. That means I can overfold this region. I think king queen off would be kind of a... I'm delaying here as a overbet. I'm starting to run out of time, Mac. Okay. Really, really cool and interesting session. I'm going to be sitting out next big blind. But yeah, that was it for the session, guys. Really, really interesting one. Cool spots. That bluff catch in the end was super close because the guy snap jammed, right? If that was a reg, I would be folding my trips always. Even something strong like ace-10, I would maybe look to fold because it's a bluff catcher, right? They rep those flopped sets when they do raise those spots for the most part. But yeah, that's why you don't fold against unknowns and against fish. Even though I station and lose sometimes, I still think it's a profitable call in the end. So I hope you guys like this episode. And yeah, feel free to comment and ask me about any hand in the video. What would you do differently and what you think about the spot, how it plays out, etc., etc. All right, so take care and see ya in the next one.